Paul is. I was just looking at this fraud and intentional distortion of the truth perpetrated upon someone in order to convince him or her to give up money, property, some right, or other thing rightfully belonging to him or her. Deception, deceit, trickery, then fraud in the inducement, trickery in getting one to sign a document. Ouch. Then there's the fraud in treaty, deceit in getting someone to sign a document that misrepresents the intended agreement, or a document whose contents are not in conformity with the agreements reached. Oh. A fraudulent act, an act involving bad faith or dishonesty. Now, I know that fraud, the intentional distortion of the truth, perpetrated upon someone in order to convince him to give up money, property, or right. Now, as the victim of fraud, when you issue court orders that says that I'm mentally ill, mental health treatment and mental health evaluation and treatment if recommended, In 2011, I wasn't a resident of the state of Washington. Yes. And your fraud of trying to get me to give up my rights and motion a court that issued court orders that did not protect my rights because of what the RCWs of the state say. You cannot deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That requires you to have proof of service prior to having any court hearing. Now, the office of the presidency requires that the president would take care to faithfully execute all the laws of the United States. It's a fraud of the office of the presidency of the United States. Now, let's say I emailed the president, President Donald Trump. He found out that Clallam County decided to issue court orders where there was no notice or opportunity to be heard. Clallam County decided to issue dissolutions of marriage where there was no notice of court hearings and there was no actual documentation to me as a pro se litigant. Now, as the President of the United States, he would have to faithfully execute each and every state law. Yes, all federal laws. Yes, he would. And then there are the United States codes that are federal laws. Yes. And then the conventions of the Hague, the conventions of the United Nations, and all treaty obligations. Now, I'm not so concerned about the presidency as much as I'm concerned about the office of the presidency found in Article 2. Yes. Now, you swore on oath that you would support and defend the Constitution. Yes, without allegiance to any other government, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, to the best of your ability. Article 6 of the state of Washington's Constitution, Supreme Court, pooch. And then you made me sit here year after year informing you that my rights are being violated, and you decided to violate the office of the presidency of the United States. Now, at what point are these states of the United States going to realize that you've neglected your duty to protect the office of the presidency of the United States? See, it's not just supporting and defending the Constitution, it's what's in the Constitution. Oh, you thought you had to support and defend the document itself instead of its contents. Oh, my God.